Hey everyone, welcome back to String, Cheese, and Applesauce, where today we're going to build this Lego Technic motocross bike. This is set number 42007. This set, age range is 9 to 16, comes with only 253 pieces. Now this set retails for $40, so that is a terrible price per part count. Now the reason why I think it's so expensive is because we do have some brand new tires in this set. So those are some expensive tires we're paying for. Let's go ahead and bust this open. Now, I didn't get this for $40, although it was still pretty expensive. I think I still paid around $35 or something like that. Of course, we have our dreaded sticker sheet. Put that off to the side. Now you can make two different motorcycles. So this is what we see on the front cover, and this is an alternate build. You basically choose which one you want to build. I'm going to go ahead and build what's on the front cover. I doubt I'm even going to build that second one because it doesn't look as great as the first one. So here's our expensive tires. These are what's making this set so costly. The wheels are nothing new. We've seen these before. They're in not only Technic sets, but they're in other sets as well. So I can't say it's the wheels that are driving the cost up, but definitely these new tires are making this set very expensive. So there's a whole wheel tire combo there. I'm just going to go ahead and put these two together since they are loose in the back, or loose in the box. We know that they're going to go together anyway, so we might as well get them on there. All right, so there we go. Both wheels and tires. Now, Technic sets typically don't come with numbered bags, so we just have two bags here, unnumbered. Let's go ahead and dump the parts out. And in this bigger bag, we do have two smaller bags that have a couple different variety of parts in each one. So this little bag is just the pins, the friction pins. We have the regular 2 long black friction pin and then the 3 long blue friction pins. And then these is just the small bushings and little chain links, a few small little connector pieces. So I like to keep the pieces in the same pile as the bags they originated from, because they do typically put a lot of the similar pieces together in one bag. And there's our big pieces right here. So you can see there's not a whole lot of pieces going on here. So I bet we're gonna be able to speed through this pretty quick. So appreciate you guys watching. And I'll kind of discuss some of the techniques as we go through them. Let me zoom in a bit so you guys can see what's up. I feel I'm zoomed too far in now. Alright, so we're just kind of putting some of these angled lift arms together, creating a frame. And it does help actually to sort the pieces. I don't think there's quite enough pieces in this set to warrant me sorting them. So I'm not going to sort them. So if you see me scrambling for pieces, it's because I didn't sort them. a little frame piece built up. An extender here, 8 long. This is kind of the boring part of the Technic, is just the very beginning. You really can't tell what's going on and what you're building. You're just kind of going with it and hoping that it's the right direction. So we're going to put the other lift arm over here. This kind of finalizes all the stuff in the middle. One more friction pin and 2 half bushings on this black axle. And this black axle, it's in this little axle pin connector that prevents it from turning. It's not in a pinhole, it's actually in an axle hole, so it does not turn at all. Looks like we're already starting the little engine. So we have this engine frame piece that's typically used on all Technic engines. And then you have a cylinder block here. A couple more of these friction pin axle connectors. Alright, so we're going to put our 2 little engine pieces together. 2 pistons, crankshafts, single thing. Alright, so you can see our 2 pistons. Now we just put one inside of the little cylinder block there. You can see it moving up and down. And we will connect that in here with a small 2 long axle. Put the other cylinder block on. Push those connectors through. Couple friction pins. And a couple 3 long friction pins. Connect the other frame to it. Long. And the black gear. Alright, so you can see when I turn the gear, how it's turning those pistons. It's actually turning both of them. That's what they consider a function. It's really just a rolling function. It only turns whenever the motorcycle rolls. all of this connects right on to our little frame that we built. Gather the pieces for the next step. If I can find them all. Oh, there's one. That's all of them. So I have never had a Lego set that has ever missed a piece. All my sets have always come fully intact with all the pieces. I have accidentally misplaced a piece before when I was building a set. And there's been times where I think I'm missing a piece and then I find out it's underneath another one. I end up finding it when I'm not looking for it. But I've been real impressed with how well Lego does making sure that you get all of the pieces. Alright. So there's our connecting gear to that axle. That gear that turns the engine. Another left arm. And one more red axle. So the two long axles are always defined as being red color. It's just the way they are. Lego does make a black variant of it, but the red is typically the one that comes in Technic sets. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and post a progress picture on Instagram. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, probably should, because you will get kind of before, kind of sneak peeks, I guess is what I'm saying. Sneak peeks of stuff that I'm building before you'll actually see it on YouTube. So we took a picture of this little engine block, and I'll say, can you guess what hashtag Lego set I am building? Let's see, there you go. Posting it to Instagram right now. Follow me on Instagram, string cheese and applesauce. Get a sneak peek of everything. Alright, enough of that. There's our next little piece, and it connects over here. So this axle is going to go right through this axle hole. It's critical that stuff line up. Okay, that's kind of weird. It looks funny, but it looks funny because I just kept saying it's critical and I didn't even line it up right. There we go. Now that looks better. See, it looks funny because you've got this piece coming out, but then this other piece is going up underneath it. But that's the way Technic goes. Alright, let me reorient this per the instructions. This one goes in here and then here. It looks like we're basically boxing in this engine piece with all these lift arms. A couple pins. Long lift arm. With these little bitty panels. And 2014 was the year of orange for Lego. They really did a lot of sets in orange. You got all the Arctic sets, got these Technic sets with orange. They're even coming over into 2015 sets. So they must have got a bulk deal on the orange color plastic, because they are just slamming it down our throat. Okay. Orange lift arm. And all of this goes back here, just like that. Now our first little suspension spring just dangles back here on this non-friction pin. We'll probably connect it here in a minute. Next is, oops. Clamp that on. Another friction pin over here. Quite sure what this is for, because it's really not holding anything on. It's just there. Maybe it's just filler. Or maybe something will connect to it in a minute. Alright. 1, 2, 2, and 1. I know we're getting close to being done whenever we start to run out of friction pins. Looks like we only have about 9 of them left, but there's still a lot of pieces. Just what I would call regular Technic pieces, so we may or may not be getting close. I'd say we're probably halfway. Okay. This piece connects in the front. Just like that. And of course we're going to complete the other side. So everything in the middle is always kind of sandwiched together. How does this go on? Right here. There we go. So that's where we're at so far. Turn it back this way. We have a little lift arm to help hold this gear on. Make sure it doesn't come out. Now we're going to build the back wheel assembly, which uses this huge, I believe this is a 32 tooth gear. So we have a 7 long axle attached to one of these 11 long straight lift arms with a bushing to hold it in place. Another 7 long and a 6 long. So we start with the 7 in there, 6 in there. Go there. Using the first one of our giant tires and wheels, and they are giant. And then we'll just finish it off on the other side. With a half bushing, so we don't put a full bushing. And then the same piece that was on the other side. So you can kind of see how with a lot of Technic stuff it's very symmetrical. So we start building on one side and everything kind of repeats itself in a kind of a mirrored fashion. So this same piece we started with over here ends over here. That axle is this axle. Those two pieces are the same, and you just kind of have the stuff in the middle. Alright, so that's the back wheel. And let's see, we do, it goes back here. Let me go ahead and get the pieces that I need. So we need this gear attached to this long axle with a stop. And we line these up and push that gear through there. Like that. It's not that's self-supporting yet, so I'm going to hold on to it until we get the right pieces on there. So we need 2 more gears. One goes there, the other one right above it, and a half bushing to that gear. And then last but not least, we need to tie this suspension piece in right here. And we just line that up with this axle hole on these 2 lift arms and slide a 3 long axle in there. Now that's all tied together. So you can see now we have a rear suspension and a big wheel. Okay, next is a little kickstand. Four. So there's our kickstand, and it attaches to this friction pin that's hanging right below the motor there. It still doesn't have a front wheel, so it doesn't stand up yet, but we'll get there. Give it time. Alright, next is one of these pieces and a axle extender piece. Okay. Now we get to put our chain on. So the chain link consists of 39 of the links. They usually give us a few more than 39. Give you a few extras. So let's just count out 39. That's 10. 15. 20, 25, 30, 35, and 39. So that's 39 links, and we do have an extra, so they did give us 40. And these are pretty tedious to put together. It's not my favorite thing to do. They're easy, but it's just, they're so small. I mean, they really do snap on real easily. Alright, there's all 39 links connected. So we bring it around to the side of the bike, and we just wrap it around like a real chain and link it onto these gears, and then just come over and snap them together. And there it is. So you can see when I turn the motorcycle back wheel, chain turns, which then turns the gears, which then turns our motor. So it's kind of the opposite the way it normally works. So the motor would usually be the one turning, and then it would be turning the back wheels. But with, you know, toys, you basically have to do the opposite. You have to turn the back wheels to make the motor work. So that's the motor part. Let's continue on. Okay, so on this side we have another one of these little kickstand type pieces. Well, I guess that's the foot where you put your feet. This is going to be our exhaust pipe. I'll use one of these little flexible hose pieces. Pin in there. Sometimes these pins are hard to get in, the hoses. Got it. Attach this back here. And then this hose you wrap around, and looks like we attach it right under there. So there's our little exhaust. Alright, next looks like we're going to get into some of the body work now. Of course, using panels. Big giant panel. Of course, an orange color. Now, the orange color first came out in the Unimog. I believe that was in 2011. 2011? Yeah, must have been 2011 when the Unimog first came out. That was when we started seeing orange in Technic. Following year, there was a few more small sets that had orange. And then it's slowly been worked into it a little bit more and more. And now it seems like not only Technic, but other themes, Lego City and Ninjago and Friends, everyone's using these wild, crazy colors now. And I don't mind the orange, to be honest with you. But it's always hard at first when there's not that many sets that have that color, and then you just kind of like have these one-off colors. And it's not like you can build a huge mock or anything with one piece of one color. Kind of need a good variety. So now that more and more sets are coming out with orange, you're getting a decent variety of pieces in that color to where you can make some pretty cool stuff now. Alright, so there's our first side panel. And then this hose wraps all the way around and connects to the engine. Now for the next panel. Okay, and keep in mind that this is going to be the unstickered version of the dirt bike. There's the other side panel. Now we get to build our front steering and suspension. So we start off with one of these big squishy springs. And we insert a 7-long axle with a bushing, and then 2 of these thin, kind of T-shaped lift arms. Another 7 long with bushing. A Technic brick. It's kind of interesting seeing a random brick in a studless Technic set. But there you go. Get your randomness in there. A couple more of these thin little T-shaped lift arms. 2 more bushings. And 2 more bricks. And the bricks are the Technic bricks that have the axle hole in them, not the pinhole brick. Alright, a 7 long axle with a half bushing on one side. Push it through, put a full bushing on, and then our big wheel and tire. Cap it off with a bushing on that side. We insert our leather shock absorber with another half bushing to hold that on. Couple of these thin lift arms will help hold the steering and the suspension together. There we go. That suspension's not going anywhere. All right, and this all gets connected up here with a axle with a stop on the end. Check that out, making progress. Now the kickstand will actually work. See how it's holding up the bike now. All right, so now we have the front fender piece, and it actually uses regular Lego bricks. So we've got some plates here, modified plate with a little click hinge piece. We've got this little hood panel. Flip it over, some 1x3 plates. Flip it back over. Connect the male portion of this modified plate with the little click hinge. 2x2 plate, and one more little curved panel piece. We click it up like that and apply stickers, which we're not really going to do that. Who would do that? And then you attach it right up here to the front on these Technic bricks that we had already on there. So you can see how that creates our front fender. All right, next and lastly is probably the steering wheel, or the handlebars. It's not a wheel, it's a handlebar. Steering handlebars. It's basically some little axles with axle joiners that are angled. We have a half bushing, then this little pin connector, another half bushing, perpendicular axle joiner, angled axle joiner, another axle, these Lego little light, what I always like to call the little, you saw them in the airport where they help direct traffic on ground. We're actually connecting them underneath here to make little handlebar brakes. And slides, you can see there's two axles sticking up there. We just slide those on there, and there you go. Motorbike is done. How cool is that? Alright, so we do have a few extra pieces. We have 2 of these tubes. We have, of course, the chain link that I showed you earlier, and some bushings, 1 little bevel gear, and a couple of pins. So that's it for the Technic motocross bike. We're going to do a review of this where we kind of look at everything in detail, but that's it for the build. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, check us out on Twitter, and of course subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss any of these videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.